Guys, quick video here. This of course, if you don't know, is a standard Lowrance connector in. You'll find this on the majority of Lowrance 2D bilge mount transducers and or transom mount 2D transducers. I see a lot of questions on forums and people ask me about running a Lowrance transducer with the Humminbird product. Especially with these new mega units coming out from Humminbird, there's a lot of people switching. A lot of times trying to get a 2D transducer out of the bilge or pulling the new wires can be a real pain. So people are like, look, can't we just, adapt the transducer that's in the bilge or on the back of the boat if they're running an aluminum boat? And the answer to that is yes, we can. Now, I've talked to a couple of basically transducer experts, I guess you'd call them. There are a vast array of transducers you can buy. Now, in some cases, like side image and down image, that transducer is specific to that model or that brand. When it comes to 2D transducers, though, the consensus seems to be that the unit doesn't know. It's just using the transmitter to transmit and receive a 2D signal, so they should work fine in the vast majority of the cases. I would recommend that, it's a standard 83-200 kilohertz, which this one is. So forget the technical stuff here, let's get into the adapting it. Alright, so we have our Lowrance transducer. You're going to need, step number one, an adapter cable. And this adapter cable, and let me make sure this thing is focusing. All right, this adapter cable right here adapts this Lowrance in to the Humminbird standard 2D end. Okay, now to do that, it's very simple. You just take this little transducer, once we find the correct way, which can be sort of a pain with Lowrance. Well, there we go. Alright, and then you just slide it in there, lock it in place. Now you're ready to do a couple of different things with it. Alright, you can do two things here. You can plug this straight into the back of a Humminbird, which that'll give you 2D only, so be aware of that. This is a 2D transducer only. What most people are going to do is they're going to use it on a mega unit. So they're going to need, depending on their unit, they're going to need a couple other cables or maybe one more cable. If you are running a Helix, you'll need one more cable. Alright, this is a Y cable from Humminbird, and there's all kinds of videos out there. Let's see, let me roll this up a notch here. There we go. There's all kinds of videos out there that talk about this cable, but just to make it a short explanation, one side of this cable plugs into the 2D side of your transducer. One side plugs into the standard SI DI transducer, in this case a mega. And it basically feeds your 2D from a different location. So you would simply take this end, plug it into one of these, and they are marked. And then this end goes into your unit, okay? Now, I'm not going to pull those out because I tried that a while ago and the video got way too long. And like I said, there are videos showing how to do that. Okay, this is for a Helix Mega. Here is the part number, 7200941. If a dealer is installing your transducer, make sure they are using this particular cable. Alright, it's a little confusing right now. The old Y cable will not work with the mega units, okay? Now, that's for Helix. If you're going to in Solix, you got a couple other things going on. You've got to have this cable Okay, this cable plugs into this adapter just like this, and you end up with this contraption. All right, this plugs into the back of a Solix. If it's a 2D Solix or you only want 2D, it plugs right in. All right, but in this case, we've got to have another adapter, and this is the Solix Y cable. Okay, mega transducer adapter cable. And the part number is, get that thing to focus, a little bit of, there you go, SMSI DBY, part number 720-100-1. Okay, so this is the cable you will use if you are plugging into a Solix. All right, so very quickly, little recap here. We're going to have the motor guide to Helix or to Humminbird unit, and let me show you that real quick. Here's what it says on the package, and here is the part number. Let's see if we can get that to 8M400 1962. This adapts from your Lowrance to your Humminbird units. If you're going to a mega Helix unit, you're going to use this cable right here. If you're going to a Solix, you have to have this cable, AD1429. This simply goes from the standard Helix transducer to a Solix, and it also works with an Onix, by the way. And there's your part number. And then we have the Solix Mega Y cable, and this only works with the Solix, as far as I know. Okay, so maybe that'll help somebody. I mean, it's perfectly acceptable as far as I'm concerned to run a Lowrance transducer. You know, any reputable shop, any really good shop will take the boat to the water before they epoxy the transducer out and test it. Then they will go back after they epoxy the transducer out and test it. You know, let's face it, if you go in there and you ask them what it's going to cost, you're probably looking at a couple $100 plus the transducer, maybe $100 to $200 depending on your location, plus the transducer to do all that. So, you know, you're looking at $300 versus about, depending on which way you go, you know, anywhere from $70, $80 for the Helix adapters, all, you know, up to 70, 100, and 135 or 40 for the mega units for the Solix. So, you know, it's one of those things. I mean, you got to decide what's, you know, what's important to you, I guess. I've mounted them this way. I've actually run them this way, and for 2D, seems to work just fine. Well, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down below, and I'll try to answer them for you. All right? Thank you.